What is going on, guys? Today we're going to be doing an oil change on the S65, my 2008 M3. Laid out here, a couple of tools that we're going to be using. We're going to be using a 36mm socket, a 6mm Allen ratchet, 6-inch extension, torque wrench for torquing down the drain plugs, and also the oil filter cap. Oil, of course, you're going to need 8.8 liters. 9.3 quarts, I think it comes out to. So I need about 10 of these. Oil filter and some other cleaning materials. Alright, so here we're just going to go over some basic components. Here is where you fill your oil. It's the oil cap. Right here is the cap for the 36mm that you're going to be using to change the oil filter. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off by loosening this and also the oil cap. This is going to make things easier on the lower end for oil to drain out the bottom. Here, we're going to loosen this up. We're not going to take it off all the way. We're going to loosen up just enough to get some air in there to let the oil drain out of there so we don't make a mess all around the oil filter housing, etc. So we'll be back to that one second. Alright, so we are loosening up the oil filter cap. Like I said, we are not going to take it all the way out due to the fact that we're going to let it drain. So we don't make a mess when we take it out. It's already starting to drain down, but we will come back to that once we drain the rest of the oil out of the vehicle. Alright, so now that we're under the vehicle, on this specific car, S65, they have two drain plugs, one located here and also one located here. These are going to be your 6mm Allens. Remove those, and BMW recommends you let the oil drain for 1 hour from the S65. 1 hour. So during that 1 hour, we are going to check other fluids, top off the tire pressures, check brakes, etc. So we're going to take those out and let the oil drain right now. So today we're also going to be doing a Blackstone lab oil analysis. So as we're draining the oil from the vehicle, they supply you with a vial for you to collect oil, an oil sample to send them, another case for you to put that in, and then also a label for the vehicle. So we're going to take a sample, send it in, and see what they have to say. Alright, so here's our oil sample that we just took from our oil change. The vehicle is draining right now, but this is what we're going to be sending off to Blackstone Labs for an analysis. So it's also what kind of metals and the general overall health of our motor. You know, hopefully rod bearings are still okay. Supposedly the rod bearings are done in this vehicle, but this will be a good telltale sign. I also took a sample for myself just to see exactly, you know, if I could see anything, what's going on. There's about 2,500 miles on this oil. And again, I'm no oil expert, but just taking a look at it, and looks generally pretty healthy. Alright, so now that the oil's been draining for about 15-20 minutes, I've topped off tires, topped off other fluids. We are going to replace the old O-rings that come in the oil filter kit on the two drain plugs. Just gonna take off the old ones, put the new ones on, get them ready to replace them, put them back in the motor. Alright, so now that the oil is drained for about an hour, I have replaced both of the O-rings on both of the drain plugs, and I've hand tightened them. So now what we're going to do is we're going to torque these both to 25 Newton meters. Alright, so now that we've torqued 1, 2 to 25 Newton meters, I cleaned all the excess oil off that was all over everything from draining it. Use some brake clean and a towel. We're gonna go back up top and go back to the oil filter. All right, back up top. Now that this has had over an hour to drain out, it shouldn't have too much oil, shouldn't make too much of a mess, but just so I don't make any more of a mess, I'm going to take this out and show you guys in a second. All right, so we removed the oil filter cap, trying not to make a mess. I'm gonna put that to the side. Secondly, we're gonna remove the filter. Also trying to avoid making a mess here. All right, so coming back to my card over here, in the oil filter kit, you're going to be replacing the larger O-ring and also a smaller O-ring, which are both located on the oil filter cap, one here and also one there. I usually use a small little pick or a small screwdriver to get underneath them, to pull them off of there. Lubricate the new ones with some clean oil, and we're going to fit the new filter back into the cap. All right, so now we have all the old O-rings removed. We replaced it with the new O-rings, one here and also the other little small O-ring right there, lubricated with clean oil, and we also put the new filter in here. So now what we're going to do is we're going to place it back in here, and then we're going to be torquing this down to, as stated on the cap, 40 Newton meters. Alright, so now that we have the oil filter cap tightened as far as I can get by hand, we're going to torque it to 40 Newton meters, which as you can see here I have set to 40. I'm going to do just one hand here. It's pretty tight already, but there we go. A little bit past 40, but that's okay. As long as it's snug. And now the oil filter cap is good to go. Alright, and lastly, 8.8 liters or 9.3 quarts of oil. Depending on what the amount is for the bottles and type of oil that you use, you'll either need 9 or 10 of these bottles. In this case, we're going to use 9 since they're in liters. We're going to need 8.8. Okay, so now that we have all the oil in the vehicle, we're going to start the vehicle, let it run for a couple minutes, and we're going to double check everything that we did, make sure nothing's leaking from any of the components that we touched. So we're going to double check here, it's not leaking from the oil filter, make sure nothing's leaking around it. We're going to lift it back up, and we're going to make sure that both of the drain plugs are tight and also not leaking after it's been running. Checked everything is fine, there are no leaks. We double checked our work, everything is tight. We're done. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.